Thanks for checking out this horror debate series video. If you're not familiar with how this is, it's a debate series that I'm doing with your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete. His channel is linked in my description, and you watch my video, get my pick for the best final girl, then you can go to his channel and check out the video of the same name. Then if you would like to, you can vote on who you think had the best pick or the best argument or however you want to do that by going to my channel, well, coming back to my channel or staying on my channel if you already watched his video, going to the community tab and voting, and there is an option for a tie because there are plenty of times where people are voting for ties for some reason. It's probably because we're both awesome at this. That'd be my guess. But anyway, just want to tell you we had one rule for making our picks for the best final girl. It couldn't be one of the huge names that everybody is very aware of and will kind of point to as the best known best final girl, like an Ellen Ripley or a Laurie Strode or a Nancy Thompson, anyone like that. It can't be them. So we're reaching a little bit further. We're going for characters who aren't necessarily talked about a whole lot, but really deserve to be talked about and thought of as potentially the best final girl. So the final girl I picked was from the film You're Next by Adam Wingard. It is the character of Erin, played by Sharni Vinson, who I actually have seen quite a few times at horror conventions. She has been out there hitting the circuit. So first of all, she's down to earth and relatable, and pretty much all the other characters in the film are not. So it does a really good job of immediately endearing you to this character, making you root for this character and understanding this is the person we're really supposed to be identifying with, and this is the person who we're basically going to follow through the film. You get a good sense early on that this will be the final girl, which isn't a problem because there are, a lot of other interesting twists and turns within the film. And by the way, on that note, if you have not seen this film, I will be talking some spoilers, so you might want to stop this, watch it, and then come back. It is a pretty good slasher film, I will say that. Erin proves herself to be the most perceptive person there when she's the first to notice broken glass when the first individual who gets killed is shot through the forehead with the arrow. Everyone is like freaking out. No, right before they're freaking out, they do start freaking out, and she's not as much. But before that, he's going and looking out the window, and he gets shot in the forehead with an arrow. But no one notices because they're so involved in their own conversations. They're involved in bickering. They're involved in their own worlds. She is super perceptive. You get the idea early on that she sees things people don't necessarily see, that she has this kind of heightened sense of trying to know what's going on within her environment and being very perceptive, being very alert to kind of protect herself and others. So I think that's a great scene that kind of lets that be known because it shows you that she's really paying attention. She knows something's off when they intentionally show you that she has seen the broken glass and she knows there's a problem. When chaos does end up starting right after that, she immediately takes on the leader role, trying to calm people down and tell them what to do, all while protecting herself. She does know to make sure she's in cover, especially when she's moving. That's why in that one scene, she actually picks up the chair and kind of runs with it, and you see why, because an arrow ends up hitting it from the crossbow. And yeah, she really just steps up immediately. It's like she was ready for that situation. We obviously find out why later, which I will talk about later, but she was ready to go. She was very familiar with what you do when things get wild, when things get very out of control and things are dangerous. And she immediately starts telling people what to do. She starts talking about what they're going to do first aid-wise. She's protecting herself. She's trying to protect others. She's trying to also secure the area that they're in, secure the whole house, and try and neutralize threats after that. She knows to remain in cover and tries to make sure others do as well. Like I was saying, she, with the whole chair situation, but she also tells other people to stay down. So she's doing a great job with the leadership. She has first aid skills and dispenses the knowledge to help. That's another big thing. Obviously, the other guy who ends up getting shot with an arrow early on, people are trying to kind of help him out, but they're not actually doing the right things. She's like, no, you need to apply pressure like this, and this is how we're going to do it. And that actually saves him, even though he ends up getting killed later, but it benefits her that he saved him right then in the situation she gets into later, where he's able to distract the guy who is coming after her, and then she's able to neutralize him, or brutally dispatch him is probably a better way to put it. So yeah, so that's another great thing is the first aid. Uh, while everyone freaks out, she assesses the situation. You literally see her starting to look around, starting to think about, okay, if they're outside, what does that mean for us being inside? Where are the potential entrances and exits? She goes around and starts securing the windows, securing the doors. She does this stuff very quickly. And another like key moment that kind of exemplifies this whole situation and how focused she is on securing things and keeping everyone else safe is the part where the one sister is going to try to run for help, and she just takes off running, and she ends up hitting that like fishing wire that she doesn't know is there, and it ends up slitting her throat and she falls down. Everyone starts freaking out and reacting to that. And what she does is, as they're pulling her in, she makes sure to close the doors as quickly as possible and secure the doors. That's what she's concerned about. They're concerned about the person who she has already identified as clearly dying. She's more concerned about making sure that no one else dies at that point, minimizing loss. So she does a great job. She's able to and does fight back early in the film, which is usually not the case with final girls. They usually end up getting backed into a corner, so to speak, so that they have to start fighting. She starts fighting immediately because, again, she was born for this. She was raised for this. She knows how to do this. She's merciless in killing the villains and acts like it's not actually a big deal. She dispatches them brutally, like I said. I mean, you can see it exemplified very early on. The very first intruder that she ends up killing, she kills with that meat hammer, or the tenderizer hammer. And yeah, it is a long, drawn-out, brutal scene, and it just shows you that she has no mercy. She is willing to do what it takes for her to survive and for the other people there to survive. Although the other people don't survive, unfortunately. But she keeps herself alive. That's why she's the best final girl. If she didn't just keep herself alive and no one else, she wouldn't be the final girl. Well, if there were guys alive, she would still be the final girl, but you know what I'm saying. She's one of the few final girls prepared for the situation they're thrust into due to her survivalist upbringing. Late in the film, she talks to the one girl who's, at that point, we know is in on this whole situation, about how she knows how to do all this stuff, like setting up these adult Home Alone style traps. And she was like, you know, I was born on a survivalist compound. That's how I was raised. So, I really know about this stuff. My dad thought that, at any point the world, I think she said that, like, he thought all the resources would become scarce, so you'd have to kind of fight for it and protect yourself. So she was ready to go. Like, she was, I wouldn't say born for this situation, but she was ready for this situation because of how she was raised. And you see that in the film. And if you think about it, like, I personally, but you can let me know in the comments if you think of someone, I can't think of another character who's a final girl who has that type of background. And it's normally just characters who are thrust into that situation and they need to figure it out. She already came to the table with all the knowledge she needed, which is why I think she's the best. Instead of letting her boyfriend live in the end, she finishes what she started and kills all of the bad guys. She makes sure it is done. She had the opportunity at that point to say, okay, what's done is done. I'm going to let him go to jail. I'm a better person than this. No, she says, not taking any chances anymore. I am taking care of every person involved with this. And that ends with her boyfriend. At that point, I'm sure in her mind, ex-boyfriend. And then the last thing, when asked by her boyfriend at the time, where's Felix? She has the great line, quote, I stuck a blender in his head and killed him. Now, it's not just that quote, it's also how she delivers that line. And this also speaks to the fact that Sharni Vincent does a very good job in this role. She embodies the role extremely well. You believe her. You believe her in that role. So, yeah, great. I mean, I think I've laid out a really great case why Erin from You're Next, played by Sharni Vincent, is the best final girl other than those, really big name ones. So I would vote for me, honestly. But anyway, do me and Uncle Pete a favor. Put the thumbs up on our videos. That does help us with the YouTube algorithm. Hit the notification bell button if you want to know when we're putting up new videos. And please subscribe to our channels. That's the best way to show support for us. The best way to say thank you for all the free content that we both put out. But Regardless, thank you so much for checking this out. Thank you for being involved with this horror debate series. Go ahead and put comments on these videos. We do love to interact with you guys about this, and let us know your picks and also what you think of our picks. And yeah, thanks so much. Until next time, keep it brutal.